Welcome to the Author Spotlight podcast by Morpheus Publishing, an exciting new podcast hosted by Justine Martin, CEO and founder of Morpheus Publishing, a division of Justine Martin Corporation. Justine is an accomplished author, publisher, writing coach, and illustrator. She will guide you through the captivating journey of bringing your words to the world, crafting stories that matter, tales that inspire, and books that make a difference. In each episode, Justine and Morpheus Publishing will spotlight a new author who has published an amazing book in genres such as personal development, self-help, children's picture books, and memoirs. Through the help of Morpheus Publishing, these authors have turned their dreams into reality, and now, you get to hear their stories. Join us on this journey as we explore the world of writing, publishing, and the incredible stories that come to life through the Author Spotlight podcast.
Welcome back, listeners, to Morpheus Publishing's Author Spotlight. Today in the studio, I've got with me Van. How are you, Van?
Very well, thanks, Justine. How are you?
I'm good. Actually, Van's being very modest. He's very nervous and excited at the moment because 1 week out from launching your book, aren't we?
Yeah. It's a little bit surreal, a little bit overwhelming, a little bit exciting, all mashed into one. Yeah, there's a bit of nervous energy in the air.
That's right. And your book is called?
Strong and Social.
And do you remember the byline?
A guide to aging well through exercise.
Movement and social connection.
I think I went through a few iterations of that, so it's in there somewhere.
Yeah, so a guide to aging well through movement and social connection is what we ended up calling it. It's a fantastic book, and I'm going to show it up here now. If you're listening on the podcast, you're not going to be able to actually see it, but it's a great little cover with green and yellow and, of course, pink on there as well. And I'm matching it quite well today with my pink glasses and pink jumper. But let's get into it. I've got some real juicy questions today to ask you, Van. So, Van, before we talk about the book, who are you outside of what you do?
Oh, God, that's a really good question because I feel as though what I do is part of my identity. So it's hard to sometimes separate the two, but if I was to separate them, I am first and foremost a father of 3 beautiful children. I'm a husband to a beautiful and long-suffering wife. You know, I think I'm a pretty good son and mum. So
we'll find that out next week, listeners, when I meet his mum.
I'm probably a pain in the butt of a younger brother who never does anything for Mother's Day and just relies on his sisters to do all the things. And, you know, I'm a keen exercise and football enthusiast and blessed enough to live in Sydney, Australia, where I was raised. And I live down the northern beaches. And, yeah, I just consider myself to be extremely lucky.
And can we ask your age?
I'm 43 yesterday.
Happy birthday for yesterday.
Thank you. I spent the day moving one gym from one location to another, which was a great way to spend the day.
I reckon it would be. What was the moment or experience that made you realise I need to write this book?
Look, there was probably a few. I always enjoyed writing blogs and articles about fitness, and I found that I could just, you know, I had a good imagination to be able to weave stories together. And I also, my father, you might be able to see him up there, and there's a painting of him. My father passed away a few years ago and was one of the reasons I started my first studio and got into this business of working with older adults. And I was planning to write, a book a while ago, and I promised him that I would. And then he went off and died, so I had to stick to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just thought we had a story to tell and I wanted to share it.
It's a great book, if I do say so myself. So your book, Strong and Social, isn't just about fitness, because a lot of people will think that it's about fitness. It's about connection. Why was that so important for you to highlight?
A number of reasons. When you look philosophically and theoretically, exercise and adherence to exercise and health behaviour change, there is a real highlighting of the need for social interaction and the power that has to help people maintain a behaviour. So I wanted to highlight and emphasize the importance of that. The other reason is that I have never witnessed something so powerful outside of the walls of this gym as the social interaction. The power of social is what not only gets the members here to the gym to continue to exercise, but it's taking widows and women and men who are lonely and isolated, and it's bringing them together in a place where they connect on, their same sort of values and the same sort of, local area. It's a group of their peers. And then it extends beyond the gym. And then they find themselves in these groups going to movie club, and they're in a walking group, and they're going to cooking classes, and all these things. And I'm just witnessing this unfold before my eyes over the last decade of running this business and going, this is a story that needs to be told, because it's beautiful to see. And it helps so many people. And I just think that there's an opportunity there to help many more.
100%. I mean, during COVID, that was a classic example where those of us that were by ourselves missed that human interaction, that connection. And we were never meant to be solo. We're always meant to be in that group or partner environment. So you're doing a good job out there. You share quite a personal story about your dad earlier on, and you've just mentioned your dad. How did that experience shape this book?
Dad, prior to going in the gyms, he was never really a big exerciser, and he was in showbiz and lived a pretty hectic life, very busy. He'd done a little bit of activity as a kid, but never really, his diet wasn't great, exercise. So there was never really something there for him. And so I knew that wherever I started, needed to be an environment with my father that he would feel comfortable with. And that wasn't just the only reason, but that was, one of the driving forces. And so when it came to prior to him being diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer, the years in the gym, we saw this transformation in him, which was just, he was all of a sudden, he originally hated exercise, and then all of a sudden he was coming to, there's a couple of classes in here we call CN+, and they're more high-intensity advanced classes. We ended up competing with some of the younger guys in those classes. All of a sudden he's looking forward to his exercise classes, and he's rolling around and chasing his grandkids on the floor, and he's lifting them up, his strength. And I'm like, this guy's, this is incredible. Look what it's done to him, outside the gym, the things it's enabled him to. And then there was so he got diagnosed with lung cancer, and it was a pretty rapid, downhill rise from there. That experience for me was quite halting, because I'm the exercise guy, and I think you can cure everything with exercise. And I'm like, oh, well, I'll just, he'll be fine. He'll live lots longer because he's been exercising. He always was quite, realistic about it all, and said, cancer doesn't follow any rules. It just does what it's going to do. Some people, are luckier than others, and I guess I'm one of the ones that's not so lucky. But that experience for me of seeing him, although he was really fit before, and the journey that being fit and becoming fit and exercising more took him on those 6 years prior to being diagnosed, sort of galvanised my beliefs around, obviously, the benefits of exercise are really important, but it's not the be-all and end-all. So it was a good lesson for me, because you can't exercise your way out of ill health sometimes, but it can certainly add value to your life. And it did for Dad, and it does for a lot of people.
Yeah, that's amazing. So this will lead me into my next question then. Now, you've got no idea of what these questions are, Van. So what do you think most people get completely wrong about aging?
I had a conversation with a lady one time, and it's always stuck with me. When I was talking to her about what we did and who it's for, and how much I love doing what we do, one of the things she said that quite often she feels invisible. She feels like society's forgotten her. People walk past her and no one would even notice her anymore. But now there's a place here where that's all it is. Everyone feels recognised and welcome, like they belong. And I think that speaks to a wider societal problem with ageing. I think that we've got that wrong, in that we sometimes consider older adults as, almost a burden on society, and they're in the way and they're slow.
Lesbian kind of thing.
And I just think that's a terrible way to treat older adults. And I've known from this experience, I can tap into a network of 300, 400 people who have got the most amazing experience, amazing knowledge. They're all the best chefs, the best grandparents, the best accountants, the best. They've all sat on the boards of big companies. there's such a wealth of knowledge and experience and love to be garnered from older adults, and I think that we've missed that a little bit as a society.
I agree totally. It's like when you get to that retirement age that you're discarded, that you're not good for anything else in life and you just got to wait to die. There's this myth that's out there about it. But my grandfather never retired. I mean, he passed away when he was about 91, 92, but in his mind, he never retired, and he'd go out to the shed every day and do something in the shed and still worked in his mind. So if someone took one message from your book, what would you want it to be?
You're never too old to get fit and find friends.
Like that. You're never too old to get fit and find friends.
Have you ever thought about writing your own book? Join the Morpheus Publishing Writing Group program and turn your dream into reality. Contact Morpheus Publishing today and start your journey to becoming a published author.
You talk about exercise as almost like a magic pill. Why aren't more people using it? Why aren't more people exercising?
I think because it's hard. It is either exercising is a health behavior, something that you need to do consistently, and it's tough. We evolved to be inherently lazy. All our DNA, as we evolved thousands and thousands of years ago, was put together so that we could procreate, basically, and survive, and then conserve energy. That's it. So when it comes to voluntarily using energy and doing something that causes us to suffer, a lot of people don't like the idea of that. And I get it. I understand. It also, if it was easy to exercise regularly and see the benefits from it, then everyone would be doing it. But because it's not easy, we need more compelling reasons to get up and get moving. And when you're trying to do something by yourself, you are battling with your own, your own upbringing, your own environment, your own experiences, your own background. And that can be really challenging. It's like with nutrition, behavior change, the same sort of challenges. So, if more people were exercising, and obviously my model is to exercise together, then that makes it a little easier, because you can look around and go, well, I'm suffering and they're suffering, we can suffer together. And so that makes it a little more palatable.
It's that accountability as well, isn't it, to someone else? Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
There's a strong focus on community. Why is social connection just as much important as movement? And we've kind of covered this a little bit.
Yeah. So let's take a look at some of the science. There's a researcher by the name of Julian Holt-Lundstedt, I think, out of the States, who does a lot of research into social interaction, social connection, isolation, loneliness. And one of her, there's a big paper that she did on social isolation. And, there are varying degrees of social isolation, but essentially the takeout was that adults who were socially isolated were, up to 34% more likely to die of alcoholism mortality 10 years. So at higher risk of death by being socially isolated. And the risk factor was equal or akin to smoking 15 cigarettes a day.
Yeah, I've actually read
how severe
before too. Yeah, outside of your book and
maybe in my book.
Talking. No, outside of that as well. I'm quite into fitness, even though I'm a disabled person. I still weight train 3 days a week, and the social interaction of it, but also because I don't want to be one of these old people that has a fall and can't get off the ground. And that's what takes the life of a lot of older people, is that they don't have the physical strength to get their own body weight back off the ground. And I don't want to be that person. So
that's right. I mean, you can tie that. You can tie those instances as well into obviously the physical capacity, but in terms of the social, you hear stories of people who've fallen over in the bathroom and no one's checked on them for 3 or 4 days.
Or years,
if you've got a strong, that's right, even longer. But if you've got a strong social network of people that are expecting you to be somewhere, like you said, accountability, and you're due to have a coffee with tomorrow and you don't turn up, then you won't be bothering and fading away on the bathroom.
Especially if you don't have family or family that care. it does come down to the family that you choose, and that being your friends and that social interaction. So for someone that's listening or watching right now who feels stuck or unmotivated, where do they even begin?
Well, I think you need to, some areas in the book, and these are simple tools you can find online, where you need to assess where you're at first and find out, what kind of, how much activity are you getting through at the moment? And what is, I suppose, appropriate or relevant for you? What's the next potential step? Because there's no point me saying everyone needs to do what the members in my gym do and go strength training 3 times a week and then do this and this. That is not, that might be a barrier too far, or a bridge too far for some people. So, once you know what level you're at, it's then about setting some goals and saying, look, let's just take small steps. And we find that, all the research around how you're moving from the lowest level of fitness and you just do a small amount of activity, the health benefits far outweigh those people that go from being, high activity individuals to elite. So you get the greatest benefit from doing just the smallest amount of movement, even when you're unfit. So that might be just, doing a regular walk around your block. Maybe start there. Maybe do some small exercises at home, find a program, like some of the online programs I've got, that you can just follow on from home and do in your own living room, 20 minutes, 3 times a week. So find something that you can do that you enjoy, that you can do consistently, and that is going to get you moving more than you're currently moving.
Hide your TV remote, hide the garage remote, hide all the remotes in your house. That'll get you moving as well. I think I once counted, when my kids were younger, that we had 15 remotes in our house. When I grew up, we didn't have any TV remotes or anything. You used to have to physically get up and change the channel. Now there's remotes for, turn your lights on, turn your lights off, open the garage door, close the garage door, change the TV channel. There's remotes for absolutely everything.
I can do everything right.
On your phone.
I can order food. I don't have to move.
No, and you don't have to go to the riverbed and wash your clothes in the river. We don't have to go out and milk the cow or kill the cow to eat. We live in such a world of convenience that's contributed to us being lazy and hard work.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How important is strength training as we get older? Why do people avoid it?
I think in terms of the avoidance, you can tap into what we said before about it being hard, but it's relatively unknown. A lot of people don't really know. They've heard of strength training. They've heard, they know they need to train. But for a lot of people, if you've never stepped into a gym, a large percentage of the population, it's a fairly foreign concept and can be quite intimidating. It requires some technical knowledge and some ability and some coaching. And so once again, you can be put into that bucket, oh my gosh, it all seems a little bit too much. However, we now know that strength training is one of the biggest levers to pull in terms of healthy aging. It is not just about building bulky muscles and being able to move your limbs around. We know now that skeletal muscle, active skeletal muscle, is critical for metabolic health. So avoiding things like diabetes, high blood pressure, high blood glucose, managing your blood lipids. We know that they are also considered now that muscles are endocrine organs, meaning that they send little messages from the muscle to other parts of the body to help it, regulate and maintain healthy function. So there's so much more there's so many more benefits to resistance training than we previously thought, that it's just something you can't leave off the table anymore.
No, it's got to be included in your daily life. So what role does consistency play versus intensity?
Huge. I would say that, consistency over time is the biggest, behavior and the best habit you can have for all your health behaviors. There's no magic pill. There's no fast win. I think, I often say to people that exercise is something journey you should begin but never end, because we don't encourage people coming in. There's other gyms will advertise a 8-week challenge or a 4-week challenge. And, they say, people will ask me, what offers are you doing? You're doing any short? I'm like, no, because this is something that you need to do forever, always. Because when we exercise, the stimulus that we provide the body only lasts for a certain amount of time. You can't just go and do one set of exercises and be like, I'm done now. That's me. I did my strength training. You need to. The body is an extremely adaptive organism, and it adapts to what you consistently put in front of it. So if you are consistently sitting down and watching TV and hunched over a desk, your body will shape in there. You'll lose muscle because it's going to adapt to what you're providing. But if you consistently get up and move and go and exercise and eat the right things and change your sort of exercise and activity habits, your body will respond, but it needs constant input for you to get right out.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I've had heart surgeries because I do have a lot of health issues, and I was told that I would bounce back a lot quicker because I exercise in the gym regularly than for someone who does no exercise whatsoever. And, a lot of the time people are quite surprised of my age when I tell them how old I am, and they're like, oh, what's the fountain of youth? What's your secret? And it's eating clean and drinking water and weight training 3 days a week. And I do Pilates 2 days a week, and I try and walk the other 2 days a week. So fitting exercise in every single day, that it's become that habit. And I don't even think of it as a habit now. It's just part of life and part of the routine.
There's a really strong psychological element to it as well. When you talk about, surgery and at times and periods of your life where you go through ill health and you're unable to move, and you go through these what are called the catabolic cascades where you sort of decrease your fitness really quickly because you've been hospitalised or something. It's the people that are regular exercising, who've been going to the gym or whatever exercise they do regularly, they've already got those habits. And so there is a psychological element to that where they go, well, I know what to do after. I can get fit again. I know where to go. I'm confident in it, which means they're more likely to go back and do that. Whereas if you've never done it before, you go through that.
And my muscle
don't know where to go.
You don't know it'll get back easier.
That's right. Exactly right.
Yeah. I can remember after the first and second heart surgeries, because I've had 3, and saying to my specialist, when can I go back to the gym? When can I go back and train? When can I lift weights? And I didn't have open heart. I just had ablations on the heart. And he said, oh, you better wait a week. And I'm like, oh, all right. And that was the longest week waiting to go back into the gym. And then the next time round, because he had to redo it again, and he goes, oh, you better wait 4 weeks this time. I'm like, oh, are you serious? 4 weeks? What am I going to do in 4 weeks? And the longest 4 weeks of life ever. Yeah. So, I've become a gym junkie over the years. And who would have thought? Because I hate exercise. I still hate exercise, but I go and do it because I know that it's good for me. You've worked with so many people. Is there a story or a moment that really stayed with you?
Gosh, to pick out one, not necessarily one story, but there are a couple of individuals and some, one of them actually in the book who I think is a prime example of how exercise and community and connection can change your life. And so that the story in the book about a guy, John, and he writes his own story. But when John came to me 6, 7, 8 years ago, he'd just finished working in corporate world. He'd had open heart surgery. He was overweight, unfit, had a history of the sport when he was younger, but never really done much. Fast forward 8 years, and he is one of the fittest guys in the gym. He's lean, a little bit ripped. He can do chin-ups. He's got this network of friends that he travels with. They are so embedded into the community here, he's like part of the social committee. That is just one story of many like it, but one that always, whenever I see him, a little bit of sort of pride swells through me because I'm like, look at this guy.
That's awesome.
Are you loving the podcast so far? Imagine the possibilities if you had Justine Martin guiding you through your writing journey. Whether you're crafting your next big book or perfecting a personal project, Justine's expertise can elevate your work. Don't miss out on the chance to work with a seasoned pro, ready to take your writing to the next level. Message us today and let's make your writing dreams come true.
What changes have you seen in people beyond just physical health?
As we alluded to before, confidence. One of the biggest things that exercise, particularly, the stuff that we do in here, does it is it's the first thing that changes. Is people build a lot of confidence to do more stuff, right? So they may not see a change in their body. They may not really see, an increase in their strength. That comes with the consistency we mentioned before. But even after going to the gym or coming for a week, people have this, all of a sudden they walk taller and they're more confident. Then they go, I'm going to carry my shopping up the stairs because I go to the gym now. I'm going to park further away from where I normally park because I go to the gym. I'm fit now. And this psychology and this confidence that people get filled with then turns into their undertaking behaviours which also feed into their physical capacity and their health. So there's this upward spiral.
Yeah.
That's what we see, outside of the physical changes in here, that level of confidence, and then obviously the social stuff and the friendship is huge as well.
That's awesome. How has writing this book changed you personally?
It gives me a sense of confidence, gives me a sense of pride. It's really distilled, a good process in distilling some of the key themes of community news and what we do and why we do it. And it's also just given me, I kind of like the time of being an author. I feel like I can walk a little bit taller now as well.
How good does that feel when you say to someone, oh, I'm an author, I've written a book, and then all of a sudden your credibility goes right up because you're an authority in that subject?
Yeah, it is. It is a really nice feeling. I've actually got my book sitting in the kitchen on a little stand there. So every time I come down to the kitchen, I'm like, oh, look, there it is.
So is there a second book in the making?
Look, I think there will be. Just because there is so much more to write and I enjoy it, and there's so many other topics I'd like to get into. I've just got to pick one and see, where the words on the page lead. But I definitely think I would like to write another one.
All right. Well, me being your publisher is her ears have pricked up on that one. I'm like, I'm going to hold you to that one, Van, because it was such an easy read for us, and to edit through as well. So kudos to you. Okay, some really quick, punchy, rapid fire questions here. One myth about fitness you'd love to kill off.
No pain, no gain. Get rid of it.
Yep. Totally agree. So best habit for longevity?
Consistency in non-exercise activity terms, is regular physical activity, regardless of whether it's in the gym or not. Keep moving.
Keep moving. One word for how you want people to feel after reading your book?
Inspired.
Awesome. How was it like working with myself and Morpheus Publishing?
You guys are awesome. You've been so supportive. You should have. No, you've been amazing from the first time we spoke to all the way through. Just supportive and helpful and encouraging, and great. Couldn't have asked for any better.
Awesome. We like to hear that. It's not as a scary process. We like to hold our authors' hands, so to speak, all the way through the process and get you to that to the book launch and beyond, because then the hard work starts with the marketing of it and getting it out to the bigger wide world. But your book launch is looking like it's going to be a very good success. So then where can people find you, connect with you, and grab a copy of the book?
So they can find Community Moves and me on our website, communitymoves.com.au. They can also order the book from one of the tabs on the page there. I'm also on LinkedIn and Instagram. But if you just head to the communitymoves.com.au website, you'll find all the contact information.
We'll have that in the show notes, listeners. So, Van, thanks for spending half an hour with me today chatting about Strong and Social.
It's been an absolute pleasure. Hopefully I get to chat to more people about Strong and Social, but if it's just you for now, that's good enough.
So if you're out there, listeners, and you know somewhere, a podcast or a talk that Van can go and share his strong message. We'd love to hear from you. Until our next book launch comes out, our next book release, everyone keep reading.
Thank you for tuning in to the Author Spotlight podcast by Morpheus Publishing. We hope you enjoyed today's episode and found inspiration for your own writing journey. Don't forget to follow and subscribe to our podcast for more exciting content and author insights. Stay connected with us on social media at Morpheus Publishing and visit our website at www.morpheuspublishing.com.au to discover how we can help you bring your book dreams to life. Remember, don't wait. Take the first step now and turn your dreams into reality. See you next time.